How's it going, everybody? Podcast number 7. Here with Andrew, my co-host, and our guests, Matt Granelli and Kevin Murphy. Today we're going to talk about the Evil Empire, also known as the New York Yankees. The first question I want to pose to these Yankee fans is 2020 World Series or bust? And if this season happens, is it going to count?
In my opinion, the 2020 season is not going to happen. But 2020 season, if anyone wins it, I'm sorry, it's invalid. I won't even be proud to say that that's a World Series.
Listen, if the Astros get to keep their World Series, then whoever wins this year keeps theirs. I almost said I almost jinxed it. Knock on wood. I think every year's World Series are bust. I think the Yankees' expectation every year is World Series. So
Nick, that is New York's mentality. Even the Mets, it should be World Series or bust. You're a big market team, and if your team doesn't want to spend the money, you're still a big market team. The Mets, no matter what, they're still a big market team.
That's fair. I mean, we're just handicapped by our ownership. I mean, we don't have the Steinbrenners willing to dish out 8 years.
Yeah.
And the Tanaka got
not yet. Soon though.
Nick, but did Tanaka pan out for us? Yes. Solid three starter for how many years? Nick, you would have started in your rotation. So
not at its peak.
Oh, at its peak. But continue on. I'd like to hear from other people. So.
Matt, what do you got to say? I mean, as a Met fan, is it?
I think there's no reason the Yankees shouldn't win this year. I mean, they have
if we play
on their roster. It's almost disappointing for them not to win. And I said the same thing. I'm going to say the same thing I said about the team last year.
I remember this.
They have the talent. They should be winning. But
all about help for us.
Other forces get in the way and makes it a little bit tough. So.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying, last year, if you take away all the injuries, again, the Yankees played well throughout all the injuries. We had the most people on the injured list now that it's called that. You take away those injuries and maybe you win more games, maybe you do worse. Who knows what the outcome could have happened? But I mean, they still played pretty good last year for what they had to deal with throughout the season. Then again, in New York, it's whoever comes up. It was the motto last year was next man up. So whoever came up had to perform no matter who you were, and they did just that.
So going off that next man up, there's some log jams on your team. I'd argue now, with Miguel Andujar missing all of 2019, and then the emergence of Gio Urshela. Do you see one going to DH, one just being a bench guy, one playing outfield? I've heard Andujar thrown in the outfield. What do you guys think?
I think Andujar is probably just going to jump everywhere, right? I think there's a lot of moving parts. I think the question mark is what happens with Stan? Does he stay in the outfield or does he DH? Those two will probably split some time between the two roles. I think it's Gio's job to lose. I think third base is his. It's just a matter of can he maintain that bat, and if he does, then great. If he doesn't, then Andujar is probably going to look to take that position back. So I think it's his. Andujar is just going to be everywhere, and then Gio's third for now.
I thought Voit was your DH though.
Voit's going to be playing first.
Oh right, Greg Bird, the travesty. He's not there anymore.
Nick. He was more than a travesty. He was disgusting. His most memorable moment was the home run off Andrew Miller to tie the game in the 7th or 6th inning in the ALDS.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. ALDS, yeah. But
Greg Bird was so disappointing, dude. He was supposed to be the stud first baseman.
Don't worry, he's going to tear it up in Texas now. He's with Joey Gallo and that whole platoon down there. He's going to tear it up.
You know what's going to happen. He's going to hit 40 home runs, hit 300. He's just going to make
40 a walking 40.
No. He's going to be a walking 40, man. I'm just going to cry.
This isn't the Mets we're talking about. It's the Yankees. But keep going.
I mean, Andrew went a little quiet here. He didn't really put his input on Andujar.
On Andujar? Oh, no. Andujar, again, he had a good was it 2017 with the Rookie of the Year with Ohtani and Gleiber. He wasn't going to win it. Ohtani won it. His glove's a liability. Urshela has a great glove. He did really good last year offensively, so there's no reason why this is, like Murph said, this is his job to lose. So if he does start off the season bad, I wouldn't mind seeing Andujar and him split time. I really wouldn't put Andujar out there in the outfield because then you're putting like a defensive liability out there. And again, Yankee fans don't take too kindly to errors by their players. They expect a clean defense. So I don't think any team takes kindly to errors, but unless the Athletics when Marcus Semien made over 60 errors. But again, we talked about that.
Stop. He's had a breakout season. Leave him alone.
Oh, breakout season. Yeah.
Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Here's a good transition point. Speaking of errors, where does Clint Frazier go?
Clint Frazier gets traded, in my opinion. He is – I don't like his attitude. The man has a nose ring.
Red Thunder.
What?
Red Thunder.
He's more like I don't know. I can't even come up with a nickname for that guy. He got a concussion working out or something. I'm pretty sure. And
I think it was diving into he dove, hit his head against the wall, and then I think he had lasting effects because I think he did get re-injured. I think he got a concussion again, probably like during rehab. Like he didn't rehab properly.
Yeah, he again like the whole Clint Frazier issue. I mean, we have Hicks. You got Judge out there. You have prospects that are coming up that can play the outfield. You have Wade that can play outfield. You have Stan that can play outfield. I don't see the real need for who the hell were we even talking about? My bad. Because I really don't remember his name because I really don't care about him. Clint Frazier.
I disagree. I kind of like Clint Frazier. I love the cleats. He's got the drip, dude. He's got the drip.
Good Yankee moments. The home run against the Astros and then the walk off or something. That's it.
I just see Clint Frazier and I see potential because that bat and that swing is amazing.
But how much potential can you give him at the major league level? Like he's
the
man can't catch a fly ball.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's one of those things where he's had his chances and he's kind of blown them, and then at the end that just hurts us because his trade value isn't going to get much better unless he learns how to field.
But then
I think the Yankees are better off trading him because we have a logjam there and we have more problems on the way. Like you said, there's a bunch of prospects on the rise. You got Florial to deal with. Who knows if Jason Dominguez is the real thing? So it's one of those things where you have to
He's got a long way.
Yes.
That's why I said, who knows if he's the real thing? Did you not hear?
No, I heard.
Exactly. I didn't say he's the next Mike Trout. I said, who knows what he's going to be.
All I said, he's got a long way. That's all I said.
That's what I'm saying.
Definitely a long way.
But you got to admit, his first at bat was pretty impressive. He was playing, I think, the Tigers in the rain down in GCL League, whatever the hell it was, and he hit a 480-foot shot off the guy, like first pitch ever seen. I mean, you gotta admit that's pretty cool. Not saying that one home run's gonna set his tone for the Yankees franchise, but again, that's a pretty cool way to start off your career. But Clint Frazier, Red Thunder, as Nick loves to call him, defensive liability. You handled the media horribly, especially with the New York Yankees. He called out the media. He was questioning why he wasn't getting playing time. I mean, when you go out there and you don't perform, there's a reason why you don't get playing time. And if you're not going to hit the ball as consistently as he was supposed to, you're also not going to get playing time, especially when your glove is there. Because if your glove is somewhat there, like you're gonna find a spot in the lineup for you, no matter who you are. But when you don't field and you don't hit and you hit subpar, you're not gonna find a spot in the lineup. You're gonna be a guy off the bench.
Yeah.
I agree.
Another question I have that I think could be a hole on this roster, but you guys will probably disagree. But your 5-starter, especially without.
I was going to bring up the same question. The 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick. Okay, so you go through our rotation for me.
I see Garrett Cole. I see Paxton. I see Tanaka. Montgomery, but he's been out of the league for 2 years.
Happ's going to be 4.
Hap, and then
Hey, whoa. it's going to be Montgomery is gonna make the rotation if
He's
we
gonna
ever have a
fit.
season, and then Clark Schmidt has earned, in my opinion, he is one of the top prospects for the Yankees. In my opinion, he could be a easy number 5 coming up as a rookie. But
I think it just depends on how long the season's supposed to be, right? If this is going to be like a 75-game series, you don't have a lot of push, right? You don't have a lot of games where you can kind of like experiment with a 6 starter, right? So I think they're going to go with the safe bet. They're going to go with Hap because he's a guy who's pitched at the major league level. He's found success. Although last year was terrible. I mean, the year we got him, he went 10-0 for us. He didn't drop a game in Yankee Stadium. He struggled during the playoffs, and then last year was bad. But if he can have a mediocre year, that's all we need, right? We have Cole, we have Paxton, and we have Tanaka, 3 guys who can hold down a rotation for us. And then you'll get starts from Montgomery, who I think is going to look to have a bounce back year. And then you can start throwing in guys like Clark Schmidt, Michael King, Loizica, Debbie Garcia may make an appearance. We have a bunch of guys who have the potential to take a 5 or 6 spot start. And especially since the roster expansion is going to be ridiculous, I don't think it's going to be a problem at all.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
That's a perfect way to sum it up.
Time will tell. What about some of the early relievers you have coming in?
Early relievers, as in
Matt, they have the best pen in the league. I'll give them that. It's not an issue.
You think so?
It's just going to be it's like, again, the length of the season and making sure we don't overuse guys. That's just because it burned us last year. Like getting closer to playoffs, it was clear that we were overusing our pen. We got to the playoffs, and guys who normally weren't struggling weren't pitching their best, and it was because of wear and tear. It's just guys like Britton, Ottavino, those guys were just kind of struggling because they're just being overused throughout the season.
Ottavino had one of the worst postseason experiences I've ever witnessed on television.
But part of it was because I feel like we kind of misused him in a way. Like we were using him for spot, like one matchup kind of
jobs, and they never worked out.
Those never worked out. Those never worked.
Like, here's a Band-Aid, stop the bleeding kind of thing.
Yeah, after like doesn't work, especially for a guy like Ottavino.
Yeah, but like just some of you're a major league pitcher. Some of the pitchers he left over the middle in the ALCS were just kind of like, bro. Like I know guys in the Yankees AA system that could possibly throw a better slider than that, and at least in that situation. And again, they overuse guys, but then it goes back to the starters, which. Again, Nick, there you go again. Like the Yankees needed depth from their starters. You can't rely solely on a bullpen, which the Yankees did have a great bullpen last year, but they relied solely on them towards the end of the year.
Part of the thing I want to talk about is the replacing of the pitching coach, right? We brought in Matt Blake, replacing what was the old pitching?
Larry Rothschild. I love that.
Yeah, Nick's MVP pitching
Listen,
coach.
That guy. Like all due respect, like I love that guy. His tenure with the Yankees was great, but last year was a train wreck. We literally had like 2 weeks in a row where we had starters who couldn't get out of the 5th inning. They were pitching like 5 ERAs, and that's part on him, right? He's got to help the pitchers like get in a routine, help work these guys out, and know the matchups. And clearly things weren't lining up. It's one thing. It's like one guy has a bad start and the next start's good. It was like a whole month of bad starts from our starters. So that's part on him, and I think Matt Blake's going to come in and he's going to do wonders for us.
Matt Blake is, I think, from Cressy. He worked at Cressy Performance, one of the best gyms in New York, and he has facilities out, I think, Texas and upstate New York, and he's got Michael King there. He's got a bunch of top minor league level guys. He trained Kluber the year before his Cy Young year. He develops pitchers. So if it's not going to be changing, you can't change Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole made himself. He had help along the way, but Garrett Cole made Garrett Cole. He can develop young guys, and I honestly think you got to give him a few years before you even think about like firing him or anything, because it's his first like professional job. He's been a coach before this, just for college level guys and minor league level guys.
Another burning question I have that doesn't really have anything to do with the roster right now, but your offseason move. As we saw, Didi Gregorius, a fan favorite. He had those infamous tweets, whatever. He would just put emojis out for everyone.
Nick, you can't make fun of that because they did the same thing with like I follow Lucas Duda around the dugout. So,
But
you know exactly what I'm
disrespect
talking about.
Didi. Don't disrespect Didi. All right.
No disrespect. Come on.
Keep
Well,
it professional.
Duda threw the ball into like the 7th row in the World Series. I'll disrespect.
Granderson ran the account and is one of the best fan interactions, in my opinion.
But I'm just
One of the best fan interactions.
I can't come after our guy on Twitter and so I can come after Lucas Duda.
Granderson can do that, is what I'm saying. He has every right. He was a veteran, you know.
as I was saying,
Yes, Nick, continue.
my question was why let Didi walk? There's got to be some reason that he's not in pinstripes anymore.
Nick,
It's because the money. It boils down to money, right? You
money.
have Gleyber Torres, who came up as a shortstop, who could just destroy the ball with the bat, and why not give him a shot at short, right? And then if that doesn't work out, like we covered multiple times, 22 stacked with shortstops, right? I'm sure Gleyber could hold down the spot, and if you really want to, you go out and get a shortstop then. I just think it was the right move, right? Didi's starting to get on the wrong side of 30. He didn't perform great when he came back. He had some moments, but I think you go with the young guy and you move Gleyber over to short, and now you put DJ at second, and both those guys with the matchups up the middle is pretty solid.
There's no reason why you don't give Torres his shot at shortstop for at least a year. There's no reason why not. The guy's a pure hitter. Like he torched teams throughout the year, and you even have LeMahieu at second, which they will re-sign him. There's no reason for them to let him walk, and there's no reason for him to leave unless a team offers him like a nasty contract, which teams will. But who knows with him? But there's no reason, again, why Torres needed to be shoved over to second.
That's fair. What was my next question? Matt, you got anything? I just blanked on my next question.
Free agency next year, you think they should go out and try to sign anyone? I know it's supposed to be a big class. I mean, I don't think they need anyone, really.
I think it's tough for us because we have so many impending free agents. Like, if you look, Paxton, Tanaka, you got to figure out what we're doing with Hap. We got to re-sign DJ. I think it becomes a situation where it's not in the cards to go out and chase a big fish. I think we just try to see who we retain and then who we let go.
Yeah. I think work with what you have is the best option because you just have a lot of names
first, and then figure out what the market offers, and then after that, assess the team and everything. Because then you also have like by the off season, if not 2022 kind of thing, that off season is kind of stacked, and by then prospects will be ready for a lot of organizations, like top prospects for tons of organizations to be coming up for. So around 2022 and 2023, they should be a ton of prospects in the league, and it's going to be a lot younger of a baseball generation in the MLB.
True.
I got my question.
Question. I mean, spoiler alert. Like, I have the Yankees winning the AL East division. The question is, who's going to give them the hardest time?
That was my question. Wow, Matt. Excellent.
In the AL East?
In the AL East. Who's going to give them the hardest
time? Say in general.
In general? Yeah. I'll answer East first. East, obviously the Rays are still a threat. They've got a pretty good pen, but it's just offense. That's their biggest question mark, is if they can perform offensively. We tend to play them pretty well. In Tropicana, they gave us a problem, but I think overall, I don't see them as too big of a threat, but they are going to be like behind us in the division. The Red Sox are always a problem. They've got offense for days.
Yeah.
But their pitching is abysmal at this point, so I'm not worried about them overall, but just those matchups, those interactions with them are going to be a problem.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. Maybe the Baby Jays start to take flight.
I'm telling you, bro, like with their most recent pick, Austin Martin, who went number 5 overall in this draft, yesterday it was the draft, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Austin Martin should have went number 1. Like his career at Vanderbilt, he was hitting like 380 something, and he's just a pure hitter, pure fielder. So I think he's going to be like they said he's AA ready for the Blue Jays. So he could honestly be you could see him in the major league next few years. And they have a Biggio at first. They're going to have Martin at second, Bo at short, and Vlad at third. Like now all they need is a pitching staff and a bullpen. They have the young guns to make a run, and it could be like that Joe Carter scene that we saw in Drake's back-to-back album cover. But
you're gonna start seeing the beat to the East again. I think that division's gonna start to wake up again. I think the baby Jays are going to take it.
Nick, please.
I hate it when you shake your head like that. And it's like, what? Why'd you shake your head? Why?
The East is back. Come, get out of here. The NL East is the best.
Nick, you have Rays contending. You have the Blue Jays are going to start to contend, and then you have the Red Sox. Who knows what they could possibly do in the future? Sorry, I'm not a big Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
No problem there.
I hate this Mets bias review. I hate it.
You guys wanted me on here, so I'm here.
I mean, I hosted the Mets one that we did a few episodes ago, so like, only right that you hosted the Yankees one. So,
I mean, we both know the NL East is more competitive, but I guess we can move on to the.
So overall competitiveness, I think the Dodgers, obviously, I honestly think they're the better team because when healthy, because it's just one of those things where they have two of the best outfielders in the game, in Cody Bellinger and Mookie Betts.
If he doesn't leave.
What?
If he doesn't leave.
Yeah, but let's say they play this season, I'm saying next season, a whole nother story. If they play this season, they're one of the better teams in the league. They got embarrassment of riches. They got young prospects for days. They got Gavin Lux, who's supposed to come up and play second, and he's a stud. So Dustin May. So I think they're definitely the close number 2/1. I mean, they're a ridiculous team. So I think they're the biggest competition right now.
Not Houston anymore?
I'm not scared of Houston. I think they got worse. I think they lost Garrett Cole. They didn't replace him. I think, especially next season with all their free agents coming up, I'm not scared of them anymore.
Nick, and do you have any idea, no matter what ballpark they go into, it's not like when they go into like a National League ballpark, it's like, oh, interleague play, like, yeah, let's have a good time, like play teams from different leagues. Like they are hated in baseball. Like I don't think there's a fan base that's just like, okay, like we dismiss you, like, yeah, like unless the Marlins are really like, ooh, we hate you, like we're best. Cool. I mean, unless the Marlins are like, ooh, we're best friends with you guys.
They get fans out there. Yeah.
It's one of those things where the Astros are going to see the best out of every team. Every team is going to give them their best. It doesn't matter. And especially if it's the regional matchups, then the Astros and the Dodgers are going to face off a lot more. And then you're going to see some good matchups. Those are going to be some good series against them.
Yeah. But in their own division though, it's going to be a fun watch because like the Athletic fans are going to feel kind of like screwed out of a few like playoff chances kind of thing, and then even the Angels are going to come with a little bit of a vengeance, in my opinion, because they got Rendon. They're going to be a little ready for the hunt of the playoffs.
Yeah. They should be.
You got anything else, Matt? Question-wise?
That's it. I think I'm good on questions. Yeah.
Me too. I mean, always a pleasure. A civilized argument between Andrew and I in regards to Yankees. So pleasure that you guys could hear us, in a civil environment. Off the camera, it'll probably be a lot of screaming and other curse words maybe sometimes.
Yes. But through all this, we learned control. So, like, this podcast helped us all with a little control. Like, Nick didn't show all of his bias. I didn't show all of my rage. Murph didn't curse a lot. I slipped. And Matt just enjoyed the conversation.
I always love the good world
burn.
But if you want to see a non-biased argument, a biased argument, we could do that. So just leave a like or a comment down below. We could let it into an episode.
Right.
Well, thanks for being on here, Kevin and Matt, as always. Andrew, we'll be back for episode 8. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like. And if you have any questions or you want to just say a comment on the video, just drop one below. And we appreciate your time. See you later.
You really do.